Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here, and this is a market radar. We're going to talk about some important levels. Actually, I sent out a video for the members of Day Trading Radio, or DayTradingRadio.com, on Friday talking about these levels, and we came down to them today just about perfect, bounced off of them, and really rallied hard. So I want to go over, kind of get it out there to the general public. I don't think it's too late. Let's break down the chart. We're going to actually concentrate on the S&P 500. That's our main index that we pay attention to, and I pay attention to it, each and every day. Each and every day we're live on the air. If it's something that's if you'd like to trade every day, or at least keep track of the markets, definitely I would say check out DayTradingRadio.com from 8:30 to 4 o'clock. I'm on the mic on the screen here, showing you my trades and going over market conditions, breaking news, live trade alerts. Just there's a lot of things going here, so I just welcome and there's also a 10-day trial, so check it out. You get in our chat room tomorrow and trade. A lot of things on here you might want to look at, all the benefits, all the bots, some of the things that we use, the dashboard. Right now this is our dashboard, and the trade alerts you can see today. Added to my LABU, sold and bought some SPY calls, bought a put today. We made 100 and change on that, and we bought some calls at the bottom where we had, well, let's go over this. Let's go over the levels. I don't want to make these things too long, but I'm going to do a fast radar. This is where we are right now. I know there's a lot of lines on the screen here. I'm going to try to clean up some of these lines for you. 10% correction line. We can put all these in a little bit later. We're going to concentrate on this red line. And this red line is an important line. This is the one I discussed. And this thing goes back pretty far. Way before the Corona crash, so to speak, the pullback. This actually went through this level. We came back to it. Again, the important thing on trend lines, if you're not familiar with trend lines, you want to learn more about trend lines, there's a couple good rules that I like to teach. If you break through a trend line, it doesn't mean the trend line loses all of its power. You really have to see if it retests the same trend line. In this case, we kind of blew through this, came back up, touched it once, touched it twice, touched it 3 times, touched it 4 times, touched it 5 times, touched it 6 times. And then we got through it. And once we got through it, we held it to the upside 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. And this was a nice pullback 5 times. So this is really an established trend line. And not many people are going to be looking at this. A lot of people look at trend lines as the underlying support. No one really looks at a trend line that broke out to the upside. So when we had the coronavirus flash, we broke down, we came all the way back up to the original trend line. And look at where, that's where we pulled back, and then we kind of finally broke through, and we had this huge move up. And now we're kind of correcting a lot of that move. And that move is bringing us right back. If we were to stay on this track at a nice, continuous, gradual move, and we didn't kind of get all this, kind of bubble, we call it a tech bubble, call it whatever you will. Just the overvaluation and the everything that happened in the markets here started to correct. And we had a big trend line break here, and that was actually, that red line is also a line that we called for a bounce. So look at this, called for a bounce, resistance here against the scene of the crime on the breakdown, and now we're back to this trend line and going. We were short today until we hit that trend line. Then I turned around and went long, and then you could see what happened. The 5-minute chart. Right off of that line, we kind of busted through it a bit. But as we were busting through it, we actually put in a little 5-minute divergence. So we actually traded the lows. I actually got in on the lows today. And got in, got out. I didn't get the whole move. We got 4 or 5 points a couple times. But it went about it went about 50 points. But the object is knowing that there's always going to be trades like this, and knowing how to identify them is so important. And this setup here, it came on the daily candlestick. Now we're going to have a couple things going in front of us. We're going to have the Fed meeting on Wednesday with the interest rate hike that they're going to do, and it's going to be a quarter point or 50 basis points. I'm looking for the 50 in a rally. If they do anything less, the market sells off. That's just an opinion. It's nothing technical about that. This was a technical move, and everything about this move looked really good. And we took profits on that bounce. Then we have the jobs report, and then next week we have a CPI report. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at that, and that's what we're really going to pay attention to, the CPI report. We might end up being down here. This trend line down here is a good 1, 2, 3 pattern off of 1 pivot, 2 pivot, 3 pivot, 4 pivot, 5 pivot. Pretty much blew through this, but up to the scene of the crime, and then came back and kind of retested it, and now back down. So if we can get down here, look at the whole number, 4,000. That's a big whole number. So we got down to my level today, which was right around that 40.81 level. I was calling for that. We got down a little bit lower than that, just not too much. Now, if we do continue to sell, it's obvious that we're going to be looking at this 4,000 level. But because the 4,000 level is such an obvious number, we might not get there. The level to the upside here is 4,400 to 4,500. This consolidation here is our bearish or our zone where we're going to have a hard time getting through. Now we came off of this lower trend line. Can we chop around it a while before moving back up? Do we eventually break through there? There's a lot of questions here. But I wanted to point out this level and see how we react to it. Now again, next level is 4,000. I'm not 100% sure that we get down there that fast. I wouldn't be surprised to see a move back up to 4,400 before this.
Order filled. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
That is a tradeometer setup here. Let's see what's going on there. All right, so that's Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin has just triggered on the tradeometer. It's a 5-minute Bitcoin divergence. And this, like I said, the divergence signal. And we're going to have a special trader spotlight on for this week. I believe this week. If not, I'll keep you updated. I'll give you an email heads up on that, where we have one of our members here using the Rockbot with a 91% success rate using it on cryptocurrency. He's going to show you how to trade the cryptos using the Rockbot. And the Rockbot script is available to lifetime. It comes as a free tool that you get with a lifetime subscription to Day Trading Radio. So might want to look at that if you do have the Ninja Trader platform. This has multiple scripts. It runs off. It's just fantastic. More information on it, just go to Day Trading Radio. You'll find a link. You'll find a link on the site for, if you go down here somewhere. Let me see, where is the link here? If you go right here, the Rockbot, and the video here talks about it. Talks about all the scripts, the strategies that you get with it, the filters, how to run it, and how it runs and stuff. Just good information. All right, let's get back to the market. So that's what we're looking for. Tomorrow, Tuesday, turnaround Tuesday. Yeah, I'm going to be a little bullish tomorrow. But the key is looking for these setups. Today, we had, again, a big reversal. That was really on the 5-minute time frame. There was a couple 1-minute time frame setups that we looked at. But let's concentrate on this setup here, because this was kind of an interesting level. We're watching this level right here, and what we're doing was we're just watching it, we're chopping around it, and then we flushed through it very quickly, and then we got back above it. So that was kind of the shakeout. This was right at the level, right at my trend line level, basically. This 40.65 level was our trend line, and it just flushed it out just to hit some stops down there, then reversed, consolidated, and then off to the races. Now, this ended up being a 5-minute divergence on the Rockbot, so you're able to capture that. If you were able to capture that, you got a lot of points. I'm not saying that you're going to get all these points. You might not have even had the confidence to get in it because there's so much selling. But it did move up. The setup I'm looking for going into tomorrow, basically the same thing. We'll watch for a 950 reversal. The setups today, they're very the ranges are very wide. I mean, we had 40-point moves in each direction. A little after 1 o'clock, I'm just looking at. There was one good divergence I took today. It was I believe it was right here. It was a pretty steep divergence, as you could see, and we had a nice little pop, and I just took it off. Not worried too much about it, and so we got about 4 to 5 points on that. And that was off of that steep double bottom divergence. Then we came back down, and then we chopped off. You saw what happened. If we kind of just go back here and just see if we missed any other setups, which I always love to do. There was looks like, was there a divergence here? Let me see. Yeah, there was. No, I'm not going to count that one. Not counting anything there. We'd like to see these little consolidation little things here, with a series of lower lows, and then kind of measuring these out as they come. And sometimes you could start to see that the low is being put in here, and the stochastics off of that low start to rise. So we're seeing that little divergence here, and that was a pretty good one too. And again, that's a more complex divergence. It's very hard. A big reversal candle right here. It does count for reversal because we were turning up. We never turned back on this candle to the downside. And we pushed back up and then chopped around. And then it was boom, off to the races. That came out. This is what we're looking at. That was kind of our 950 reversal. Sloppy one. So after that, nothing. And then I'm going to go over to the overnight trade here fast. Got a lot of people asking me if I could start trading the overnight markets, and I've been trying to work on a way of doing that because there is some things that I don't want to miss out on. Some of these trades that we could get into can be you could just make your day, you can make your week if you get a good 5-minute divergence and you feel comfortable and you're able to be there in front of that. Here's another kind of a good divergence off of this candle. The double bottom relative to bottom, even then take out this little low, relatively speaking, it had a nice double bottom right there. And once we started turning back up on this candle, you probably could have put a stop in at the lows here, at those lows, and let that thing run. And you would have got a nice rotation up. And it would have taken profits on the way up. Overnight trade, I did see some things that were setting up. Usually we talk about 3 o'clock is where the market comes alive. Right here. You see the volume starting to come in, European Open, and lots of times we will see setups around 3 o'clock, 3:30. In this case, it's you have a slight little divergence here. It held above the 20 line. Wasn't much of a 9.3. They had a nice little move up, and you always take it off on the rotation above the 20 line, just for these short-term scalp plays. So you kind of had a nice little move there. I don't know if that would have been worth. It's not a clean one. And I love showing you the clean ones. Here's a nice clean one here. Big reversal candle. Another kind of a good candle with a long tail. But look how high that stochastic rotation is here. It's an angle that's about a 15-degree angle. Anything above 10 degrees is a really good angle for a divergence. And if you have a double bottom, or at least a double versus the first low and the second higher low, and those prices are comparable, then that's the trade you want. And it gets that big move. And not to say this is the end of the world, or you want to go long and just go home. No, this is based off the 1-minute time frame. All these trades are scalps, but they're giving you big. And if you get into these divergences with a few contracts, like I said today, there was a move. The market moved 20 points. 20 points in 3 minutes. 20 points in 3 minutes. If you had an ES on one contract, and then you went to get up and went to the bathroom, and it went for whatever reason to have a stop in, you're down $1,000. So you have to be careful in the volatility here, but you also want to take advantage of it, because on the right side of things, you get a nice divergence. You get a couple of ES contracts on that divergence with a stop underneath your pre-divergence low. You have potential to pull out that $1,000 trade, and that's that could come each day, especially with the volatility in the market. It's just so the overnight trade. I would love to be able to get these. I'm working on some kind of thing. I'm working on a new bot, a scalping bot, which is going to get your entry in, and it's going to take you out on the first rotation. And I think that's important. That's going to keep this, that's going to, and I'm working on that. I'll probably work on a little bit more today. The 2210 here, look at this. It's a pretty decent divergence. It's not above 10%, but it's above that 20 line, and it's also 14.3. And it's a good 14.3. And it has a 5-minute kicker, meaning the 5 minutes on the way up. So right here, big reversal candle, stop underneath the low, and look at the move after that. So, I mean, what I'm going to do is show you the right areas. You're not going to be able to say, well, how do I know that is, a divergence? Well, because it's a very simple criteria you're looking for. I teach it, I show it to you. There's only one way to see it. There's only one way to interpret it, and you need to push the button into it. And you need to take a shot. All right? You need to take your shot. And overnight, it does work out too. And the sell side, it does work out too. So here you had kind of a relative divergence where the closing price is all getting up at a much lower stochastic rotation. And that's more of a sell signal up here. And that's a nice move down. And then look at this. This is market opened up on Sunday evening, started to sell off, and then look at this divergence. That's a pretty good 9-3 divergence, and big reversal candle. Stop goes on the divergence low, and look at that big move. So pointed out that one, sell side that way, buy side this way, buy side this way, buy side this way. Nothing really there. Buy side this way, and lots of other things looking good here. All right, so that's kind of the review where we left off. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going into the markets. From now on, starting tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be identifying the divergence in a more of an organized way. For the last couple months, I've written out on our. Hold on, let me bring this up for us. Yeah, I want to start breaking these down. We're going to really force the issue. They're going to be broken down to 1-star divergence, 2-star divergence, and 3-star divergence. I would say 3-star divergence, automatic take that. You got to take that. And 2-star divergence probably going to be that way too. And just remember, this is our, kind of rules of the trade and what we like to look at when we're looking at a divergence. I think the reversal candles is super important. Time of day. Again, you don't really want to take these setups at 3:45 or maybe not 9:35. When it's really, really whippy. But lots of times we do get some good divergences early in the morning, so I'm not counting that out. But the reversal candle is key. The regular divergence and the time frame is all key too. Trend lines, the VWAP, some other things are always important also. So just kind of keeping an eye on that. Starting tomorrow, when you hear me talk about it, I want to see everyone starting to take those positions if we have a good, 3-star divergence, including myself. We're going to be concentrating on that. All right, right now this is the overnight market. It's coming up on 8:32. I want to send this out to you. Hopefully you enjoyed that video, just to kind of update you for the markets tomorrow. We're looking for some upside, a little follow through. The big question is, do we get to 4,400 or do we get to 4,000 first? 4,400 or 4,000? 4,000 is right below us. 4,400 is right above us. The Fed meeting on Wednesday, jobs report, and on Friday, and then CPI. I think as this all plays out, a couple things we'll look for. Maybe capitulation candle, another big reversal candle. But I'm leaning towards a test of the 4,400. I'm leaning toward a test before too long. Maybe we get down here and bounce all the way back up. Maybe we start here and head all the way back up. But 4,400 is my go-to number here. All right, have a great one. See you in the markets, DayTraderRadio.com. I'll see you guys then.